Catalina Cardona, and I'm the National Vice President for the Northeast of LULAC. It is indeed my distinct honor to present to you the next amazing lineup of Latinas who, in addition to their professional successes, each have a very inspiring personal story to share. So, the next few minutes we will have a unique opportunity to learn firsthand how Latina women at the top in corporate America see themselves, see their journey, and how it has changed them. Also, I invite you to pay special attention to the words of wisdom gained through their hard-earned lessons and sacrifices, the many very personal decisions they had to confront and choices they had to make. Get ready to laugh, to cry, to cheer, and definitely applaud them. But also, be ready to see yourself in these titans of America's corporations and look for ways you can apply their lessons to your own life, be it in business, in politics, and in your personal lives. As you do, ask yourself, would I be willing to go through what they have? What would I do in their situation? How would I have handled the choice if I had the opportunity? As America is forced by recent events to take a fresh look at itself in the mirror of civil rights for all, including women, these insights by these women on the panel are timely and very, very relevant. These women are squarely in the crosshairs of some colleagues, decision makers, politicians, and even sad to say, some of our own, who still believe that women were meant for supportive roles only. To them, the notion that a woman would aspire and expect to be considered for a C-suite position in corporate America is beyond their ability to accept or even comprehend. So let's get ready to really tune in as these powerful, yet very relatable women share their perspectives on life inside the traditional male-dominated world of corporate America and how they're changing it for the better, changing it for all of us. And now I'd like to introduce you to Jessica Martinez, LULAC Women's Commissioner, to introduce you to these fantastic women. Enjoy the panel, stay safe, and please, wear a mask.
Our first speaker and panelist is Jackie Puente. Jackie Puente is the Executive Director for External Affairs at Comcast Corporation. Throughout her career, Jackie has served as a translator between public, private, and nonprofit entities. Prior to joining Comcast, Jackie advised Fortune 100 company clients on a range of technology, telecommunications, tax, and utilities-related issues. Jackie has a strong reputation for building coalitions on high-profile and complex issues, combining her passion for media strategy communications, business development, and regulatory affairs at the state, national, and local levels. She serves as an advisor and board member for many national advocacy and philanthropic organizations, including the U.S. Hispanic Leadership Institute, the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, George Washington University, as well as the American Association of People with Disabilities Technology Forum.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jackie Puente, and I'm the Executive Director for External Affairs at Comcast NBC Universal Telemundo. And on behalf of everyone in our company, first and foremost, I want to thank LULAC for their incredible advocacy to uplift our families during this extraordinary time. It's strange that we're not all together this year, but I know that our advocacy will continue, and I hope that we'll be together next year, stronger than ever. Stay safe.
Our next panelist is Celeste Carrasco. Celeste Carrasco is a Director of Federal Public Affairs for AT&T. Celeste began at AT&T back in 1996 while she was still a senior at Rutgers University and became one of the first 10 team members to support the newly launched AT&T WorldNet Dial. Celeste was one of only 50 leaders across AT&T selected to participate in the 2011 Accelerated Development Program, which is a year-long intensive AT&T experience designed to advance business acumen and increase strategic perspective as preparation for future leadership opportunities. Celeste holds a BA from Rutgers University, an MC in Project Management, and a Master's in Management from Stevens Institute of Technology. She is part of the National Executive Board of Hacemos, the Hispanic Latino Employee Association of AT&T, and is a strong advocate of diversity and inclusion. She is also a native of Argentina and currently lives in Washington, D.C.
It was 2012. I was working and living in New Jersey for AT&T, same company. And I had just had a beautiful baby girl, single mom. And, I had moved my parents into my house at the time, and they, to help me with the baby. And I get the opportunity to move to Washington, D.C. to take a promotion and take on a new responsibilities. And I was scared beyond belief because now how do I say no to a promotion and um, raise a little girl on my own? I mean, it was just such a scary moment for me. Now, 8 years later, I have an amazing 9-year-old daughter. My parents couldn't be happier, and I love my job, and I get to do a wonderful, um, job that I love so much. I'm so blessed that I truly am. The way that culturally we are structured, women are faced with these things. We tend to be caregivers, whether it is, our own parents or our children, sometimes our husbands as well. We end up being that caregiving role. And when you have that caregiving role with limited support from other family members, then you have to sometimes make the tougher decisions, or you are faced with making sure that you are not, jeopardizing your career or your job, because that and can be your livelihood. This isn't so much about career development, but sometimes this is, we're head of household, and we need to have a source of income. Above all, I am a mother. And that is a recent title that never in a million years did I think was going to take over first place. But I am a mother. And then I am a daughter. And then I am a sister. And you're starting to see the pattern. Family, for me, defines me. My family defines me. So I am the daughter of two amazing people. I am the sister of two other amazing people. And I happen to be the mother of an amazing little girl. And that really is how I define myself. And you can only relate to people when you bring yourself into the human level. Like you said, titles don't define us. My parents have taught me that titles come and go, money comes and goes. And you really need to be an authentic person, who you are, whether today you are in an executive suite office. Tomorrow life may decide that all of that gets taken away from you, and your next job, not that there's anything wrong with it, but you may have to all of a sudden switch it up and go do something that may not be at the executive level. I look at life as a road of opportunities, and sometimes opportunities are not meant for you. That's okay. They're meant for somebody else. But there are opportunities that 100% are meant for you. Take them and run. And don't just sit and think about why not you, but rather just think of, well, what else can I do? And how can I carve my own path? Maybe this just wasn't my path. And I think a lot of us just tend to be a little bit more focused on the why something is not working versus, thinking of how can we make this work from a different perspective. And that could be career development, it could be relationship, regardless of what it is, when you look at things from the perspective of um, it being an opportunity for you to find something else, a different angle, then you just basically change the whole discourse of that situation. Sometimes, let's just be honest about this. When nobody's watching, we may not feel very motivated to do things. But when you are achieving for yourself, then you're always watching. So it's easy to stay motivated, stay focused, and just, being able to have an output of excellence um, because you're the one watching. I remember I went through a self-discovery journey of what that was like, of being by myself, and that tough time of going to dinner. I know this may not be a big deal to a lot of people, but at the time it was for me, going to dinner by myself, showing up at a restaurant and saying table for one. And this also ties back to my conversation about looking in the mirror and not feeling confident and not feeling worthy. Um, Today I scream it out. I walk into a restaurant, I'm like, can you see me now for one? And I have no issues whatsoever. And it's about being comfortable with yourself. Now I want to be alone. I want to find these moments of happiness by myself, of listening to a book, because sometimes I get a little lazy, but just finding these gifts, and sometimes it's spending time with people that I really care about, and that's a gift to myself. We're all different, but we're all beautiful. Don't compare yourself to others. Find your uniqueness. um, don't waste time on regret, and love with your whole heart. Don't be afraid. There's so many things that I can impart on people because I have been there. Um, and hindsight is 2020. And if you can take one gold nugget out of this conversation, I hope that you feel empowered and look at yourself in the mirror and see yourself for the beautiful individual that you are.
Our next panelist is Maria Sadiku. Maria Sadiku is a manager human resources business partner at Cox Automotive and is currently supporting multiple locations in New Jersey and Louisiana. Maria has a passion for diversity and inclusion as she actively participates in employee resource groups to increase awareness of diverse networks. She was born in Honduras and at the age of 7 moved with her family to New Jersey. Learning a new language and culture strengthened her ability to adapt and change in an ever-evolving climate. This foundation led Maria to achieve her MBA and apply a robust business sense to her career in human resources. She was selected to be part of the Cox Automotive Inclusion Leadership Council and will assist in executing strategic priorities and objectives to promote an inclusive work environment. Maria and her spouse understand diversity firsthand. Her Honduran and his Kosovo heritage help them teach their children the beauty of not only being different, but thinking differently, a goal that drives their passion every day.
So I remember, it's still very vivid in my mind, when I was 7 years old and we arrived to this country. We arrived to the airport in New Jersey. Excuse me. And it was a cold April day. And I came with my family, with my mom, my brother, my father, and understanding change and what that was going to look like coming from Central America, arriving in New Jersey. So you have the language, you have coming from the hot to the cold, and just realizing and understanding that this New Jersey was not going to be our home. So that in and of itself really has always stuck out, you know, and I understand the opportunities and embrace everything that this country has given me and my family. It's no secret to me, my family is the most one of the most important things in my life. My immediate family, like my parents, my brother and his family, my husband and my two wonderful children. They and women in my family are like the heart and soul. You know, they're like the kitchen of the house, you know, that make it a home. Everyone gathers around us, and it's just a great feeling. The support and encourage that they've provided me over the years in education, in career, in life in general. Without that incredible support and that circle, I don't think it would have allowed me to be as bold as I can be at times. In a previous work environment, I was part of an HR team, you know, and I was the youngest in the department. However, I did have a little bit of more experience than the rest of the team. And the director really kind of leaned on me and promised me a lot of things. And the lack of transparency ultimately, and then his leadership style did not align with my core values at all. And fortunately, you know, I had the support from my husband that he's like, you know, he made it very simple to me. He's like, if you're unhappy, leave. And I left. I did. I mean, I resigned. I tendered my 2 weeks. I really did feel that my talent was very undervalued and was being taken advantage of. And on my last day, he sat me down in his office, and then he asked, "Oh, so what have you learned?" And then I said to him, "I learned my biggest takeaway was that you taught me the kind of a leader that I do not want to become." And I didn't say it out of spite or anything like that, or with any ill intent. It was just such a relief for me to leave that company, because he just I just wasn't valued. My talent was not being taken for what it was worth. Understanding and becoming aware that tough choices are necessary for you, you know, so that you can be a better person, a better team member, a better leader is necessary. So just to be aware that you will face disappointment, and you need to face it head on and make a decision. I mean, hopefully you can have that support, and if you don't, support yourself, you know, and encourage yourself, be your own cheerleader, and say it's okay to leave. It's probably going to get a little bit harder before it gets better, but you need to keep your eye on the road ahead, and know and trust in yourself that things will be good, things will be great. This year has been so extraordinary, and finding that balance of being feeling fulfilled by your career and by your personal life. Some days I do it a little bit better than others, but overall it makes me happy to be present. When I'm at work, I want to give it 150%. I want to be happy. I want to be able to listen and guide and lead. And when I'm home, I want to just, you know, lay on the floor and play with my children and just have fun and fill the house with giggles. I just want to be present in every moment. That makes me happy. The best advice I can give my younger self would be to be a little bit bolder, speak a little louder, trust that trust in yourself, number one, and trust that the things that are going to come your way are going to sort out the way they're supposed to. So, good experience will make you stronger. Great experiences will make you appreciate them. So, just that, like, make sure that you trust yourself as much as your core family trusts you. So, if there is one thing that I would love for young women to take away, is that I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better. I want to be able to crack that ceiling just enough so that you can break through. I want to be able to provide um, a sense of pride for my children so that they can be the leaders that I or that other young women will inspire to be.
Our next panelist is Nora Venegas. Nora Venegas joined Tyson Foods Inc. in December 2002 as the Director of Federal Government Relations. Nora serves on the LULAC Corporate Advisory Board and Women's Commission. She also helps coordinate Tyson Political Action Committee activities. Prior to joining Tyson Foods Inc., Nora worked at SBC Communications in their Federal Government Relations Department. She has also worked at the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute as a liaison between the board of directors and sponsors. Before moving to DC, Nora was a middle school math teacher in Texas. Nora is also a graduate of Our Lady of the Lake University in San Antonio, Texas, and she currently resides in Washington, DC.
18 years ago, I was thinking of changing jobs. My son was already in elementary school and I wanted more responsibility at work. And I answered an ad in the Roll Call, which is the Washington, D.C. Newspaper on Capitol Hill. And it was for a Fortune 100 company that was starting a small government relations office in D.C. And the job description was literally A to Z because there were going to be only 2 people in the office. So I answered this ad. Fast forward 18 years. I'm still with Tyson Foods. It was an ad for Tyson Foods. And I have been very fortunate because it was a small office. It provided a lot of opportunities for me to learn and to grow. And I had an amazing manager who inspired me, challenged me daily, and provided opportunities for me to grow and learn. So growing up with parents who only spoke Spanish has taught me to be very proud of the fact that I am bilingual. It has also taught me the importance of communication in our everyday lives. My parents were very humble and instilled in me to be humble, to be kind to others, and reminded me that at the end of the day that we're all equals. I think that is really important in how we treat each other, and I try and bring that every day with me to work. But my parents were really strong and obviously part of my foundation, and they really instilled in me the importance of family, of work ethic, and faith. And I think that makes a difference. And as a Latina, it's part of my foundation and I bring it to work. So looking back at my career, early career, I recall applying for a position, and after 6 weeks and 3 interviews for the same position, I was notified that I didn't get the position. I was exhausted. I had worked really hard to be prepared for these interviews, and as they progressed, I think I was starting to believe that I was going to get this job, because by the 3rd interview, I thought, I've got it. It's just a formality. Well, unfortunately, I didn't get the job, and I was very disappointed, very surprised, disappointed, but I did go back and I reflected on the questions, how I answered them. I sought feedback, and I think it has helped me to be more resilient, because it honestly made me stronger. Because after that, guess what? I got a better job. and I was happy. So I think that when you apply for a job and maybe you weren't successful, and it is very disappointing because you do put your time and your effort into the interviews and to the application process, I think it's very important to take time and go through the questions, the answers, any feedback you could possibly get. I think it's important to practice. And I think it's also important to realize what you have in your control, which is what's on your resume and what you bring forward. And realize also that there's things out of your control, such as the demographics they're looking for, the gender. Those are things that you don't control. So you have to be able to realize that sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes you just weren't going to be the person for that job and that job was not for you, but you have to keep trying. So having worked in corporate America now for over 20 years, I do see myself more resilient because I have seen through my own experiences, failures, successes. I've seen colleagues who have failed, succeeded, and I try and learn from that. I'm always looking around, always trying to learn, how could I do it better? And I do realize that sometimes things change because they're going to change and you don't control that. So I think that has helped me be more resilient. I've had failures, I've had successes, and I try to draw from the failures. I try to draw that I was able to succeed after. There's the next day and I was able to succeed. And from the successes, I try and draw, what did I do? How did that feel? How can I replicate it? What motivates me today, because I think as we grow in our career, we're motivated by different things. So earlier in my career, I would say maybe I was motivated by getting that first job. How do I do that? And making my family proud. I mean, they put time and money into me getting an education. And as I grow and I got married, had my own son, I'm motivated by how can I lead by example? How can I help him? How can I help my nieces and nephews who are also getting education and going out into the workforce? I feel that as we grow in our careers and we evolve and we have different interests, I think that it's okay to have different motivators. And we have different external motivators, whether it's our family, our friends, our health, what we want to do in life. So at different times, different things are going to motivate us. And never having done something before, that you're going to have fear there, the fear of failure. And as you grow in your career, hopefully there's less of that fear of failing. So if I was mentoring a younger version of myself, I would tell myself to always be curious, always eager to learn, always volunteer to help, even if I don't know. Sometimes that's how we learn, and always be humble and ask others who have gone before me, who might know, and I trust, because trust is very important. If I trust someone, I can ask them humbly, like, hey, can you please help me? What do you think? And if you trust the person, they will be honest with you. And getting that feedback will make a difference. So always open to feedback, even if we think that it's not going to be what we want to hear, because we want to hear that we always did a great job. The feedback will make a difference. So I would tell my younger self, always ask for feedback and try and incorporate it going forward. I think one thing to be mindful of, and it's something very important to share, is that it's okay not to have all the answers, especially if you haven't done something before. You're not going to know the answers. You're not going to know sometimes where to get started. You're not going to know what you're going to be doing 3 years from now or 5 years from now. But I think it's important to stay curious, to stay open to the possibility. Growing up in West Texas, I would have never thought that I'd be living in Washington, D.C. or working for corporate America.
Our last panelist is Miriam Freeborn. Miriam Freeborn is a Claims Home Office System Manager for Geico. Miriam joined Geico June 16, 1984 as a Claims Service Representative and has celebrated 36 years with Geico. Since then, Miriam and the Geico system teams have been the recipients of several Geico Corporate Quality Team Awards for their system innovations. Miriam was born in San Salvador and moved to the United States in 1967 with her younger brother Omar, where they joined their parents. They moved to Arlington, Virginia in 1968. Median and her husband are still residents of Arlington, and they support the Mary Center and the American Diabetes Association charities. Median says that she loves her current job, working with a group of bright and dedicated Geico associates. Each day is an opportunity for her to mentor her team, to learn from them, and to provide her internal and external customers the best possible support and solutions. She plans to continue expanding her project management skills, continue teaching LSS, and deploying innovative systems and workflow solutions for the claims community and the Geico organization.
So when I came to the United States in 1967, I didn't speak any English. I was 5 years old. I'm 58 years old now, so you can do the math about how long I've been here. But I remember that I came the year that Martin Luther King had just been assassinated. I remember in our small apartment in Washington, D.C., in Adams Morgan, there was a picture of my mother, my father, my young brother, and I. And there was a picture of Martin Luther King, a picture of Jesus, and a picture of John F. Kennedy. Not knowing enough about the new world that I was in, I kind of thought that they were my family, wasn't really sure. But what I did realize is that the parade, the memorial parade for Martin Luther King actually went past our apartment in Adams Morgan. And it was a sea of people, people like I've never seen in my life, different walks of life and cultures I have never encountered in my life. Soon after that, I started in my new school, and I was teased and I was bullied because I was not able to communicate in English. And I do remember going home and crying, and my parents saying to me, there's going to be an awful lot of new opportunities, new challenges, new things, and mostly new people that you're going to get to meet, starting with your life today. And so they said, what you need to really do is learn the language, master it, really focus on your education, make sure that you can make friends. If they hurt you, try to make friends with them tomorrow and the next day, but just make sure that you do that. And the reason why that resonated with me is because as I went into the corporate world, I noticed that I was female, I was Latina, I was still working on my formal education, and I may not have been equivalent to those other young ladies or young men that were around me. So I sort of recognized right up front that it was going to be a challenge. But as my parents and others, mentors that I've had have taught me, every challenge is an opportunity that you can turn and grow from. I believe that if you know yourself, you need to make sure that you understand the thoughts and decisions you want to make. Always trust your gut instinct. Always trust what the good things that you have seen from your family and probably your coworkers. Most importantly, what you really should try to do is associate yourself with a mentor. Have a mentor, have someone, whether they're in your family, whether they're in your professional environment, whether it's a dear friend that you've had for years, whether it's someone in the clergy, someone that you can really trust and be able to share your ideas with. The other thing that I really like to tell young people, and especially in Latinas, young Latinas, and even Latinas at my age that are at a crossroad and want to advance to a different or a new career, I want you to think about putting a plan together. It could be 6 months. It could be 3 years. I never recommend anything more than 3 years. But you really need to know yourself. You really need to know what's in your heart. And you have to put a plan together. And you have to have someone that can be your sounding board, can actually listen to your ideas, maybe look at your presentation, look at your resume, give you some honest feedback. But you have to take that risk. One of the things that you want to do is trust in yourself. You want to build the confidence. If you're going for a new career, I really strongly suggest that you learn everything about that background you're trying to enter into, whether it's insurance, whether it's IT, whether it's sales and service. If you want to learn real estate, you need to really immerse yourself and understand all the different areas of that new skill set or that new career that you want to forge. Number one, have the confidence. Number two, get a really great mentor and someone, if not a mentor, someone that can give you some honest feedback, maybe a little bit of guidance. And then really make sure that you do your homework about the next steps that you want to take towards that career. But never, never forget, go with what feels right, what you think is right, and make sure that you learn enough about it to make sure that you are comfortable that you're making the right decisions. That I encourage individuals to build a personal brand. What is it that you want others to remember about you? What is it that you can do just beyond your personal life, also beyond your personal and professional goals? What is it that you can do? And I would really like to encourage you to participate, to pay it forward, to be able to mentor. I want you to join an organization, join a committee, support a nonprofit, one that's very near to your heart. Engage the individuals and communicate with the individuals that work that organization. Support any outreach programs, any events that they have. Actually get involved. So beyond your personal goals and your professional goals, I want you to become involved. I want you to become a Renaissance individual. I want you to continue your education if you can. Stay up on the news, stay up on the current events, communicate and understand what's going on in your own backyard, what's happening in my community, how can I contribute? But only then, when you're actually being able to work with others, to showcase your talents, to bring your talents, to learn any new talents that these individuals or organizations may be able to supply, that's when others recognize, and you're building not only a network, you're building a brand, and you're building what you're known for. It's almost like having a billboard that's surrounding you. And what you want in that billboard and what you want in that portfolio is really positive things, things that you have done beyond your own professional and personal life. You can meet your own goals, create your goals, meet those goals, and you can also excel like others. So for me, it was have an open mind, learn as much, do continue to trust. Do not stop trusting because of a couple of potholes in the road. Always, continue to trust, but learn from each experience. Become a little smarter or a lot smarter, and then also make sure that you continue to work towards your personal and professional goals because they are attainable. Roads were meant to be improved. Walls were meant to be put up and taken down. So I just encourage you to keep always moving forward and use some of the patience and just become knowledgeable. As we grow older, we become wiser, kinder, and a little bit, ready to share more of our experiences. And so that's what I can share with you all.